Hello, spooky friends, and welcome to another episode of Storytime. No, shit, fuck, Pastatime with the Scariest Podcast.
Woo!
We have story times too. Those are different episodes. But I'm Robin Grace. This is Adam Diaz.
Hello.
And we have a few more creepypastas to share with you folks today. Adam's going to tell us, right, what a creepypasta is?
Sure. Creepypasta is a fictional story that has been placed on the internet in one of many communities, sometimes the SCP Foundation. We haven't had one of those episodes in a while. Tonight will not be one of those. Sometimes the creepypasta spots. Sometimes another spot that Robin likes to go to, the No Sleep Reddit. I can't remember what it's called.
The No Sleep subreddit on Reddit, yeah.
And sometimes they come directly from our very own Spooky Friends community.
Yes.
Either way, they are very fun to read. We talk about them a lot on the show. We actually have covered a few during topic episodes in the past that were really good, that kind of took on a life of their own. But we are covering 4 different creepypastas today that we found entertaining, and we're pretty excited to share them with you. So I think I'm going to be going first this episode. My first one is going to be called Return to Sender. And I know when you hear the thought, or when you hear the words Return to Sender, you might think, Adam, you have read a creepypasta called Return to Sender on Pastatime number 10. And you would be correct. This is, however, a different creepypasta with the same title because everyone out there loves Elvis songs. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it, and it starts out like this. Another bouquet of flowers showed up today. That's the 3rd this week.
You know, the way you're reading it is like so chipper, like, another bouquet of flowers showed up today. It's the 3rd
this person's
one this
getting
week.
flowers. I'm just channeling their emotions.
It's not more like another bouquet of flowers showed up
You should
today.
probably just wait, okay? Just wait.
Okay.
They're beautiful flowers. They really are. Roses and lilies, bursts of color and baby's breath. Lovely arrangements that would make anyone happy to receive. Yet, every time they arrive, I can't help but feel a stab of fear. I guess I should explain. This all started back in college when I started dating this guy. We'll call him Mike. I wish they would have used Kyle because this is kind of like a creepy stalker story, and we had one of those recently on one of our topic episodes. Okay. But no. They're going to go with Mike. He was nice enough guy. We just weren't really compatible. I don't know. It didn't work out for the same reason a lot of things don't work out in college, and I never would have given it a second thought or even really remembered him at all if it weren't for the flowers. The first bouquet showed up the week after our last date, after I'd texted him to say, this isn't working out. They were vibrant blue chrysanthemums and white roses, and they came with no note or explanation. They merely appeared on the welcome mat in front of my apartment door. I waited for him to try and follow up, to get back together with me, but he never did. I even texted him to thank him for the flowers, and he insisted he did not send them, but of course he would say that. Then, in a few weeks, another bouquet arrived, and then another, and the week after that, and a third. And pretty soon, the flowers were coming every week. When I moved out of my apartment, they were waiting for me at my new address. When I got a job in a different state, they arrived at my workplace, placed cheerfully on my desk. This really had Kyle vibes to it. That's why I'm like, totally going to pick this one. So,
okay,
I'll keep going. I called and texted Mike, trying to get him to stop, but I kept getting a message failed or this number has been disconnected. I guess he changed his number. Maybe he didn't want me to call and harass him.
But they know it's him?
They assume it's him.
Okay.
The flowers kept coming, and I started to get creeped out. I like how it's been like weeks, months, and now you're starting to get creeped out. How did he know where I lived? How did he keep finding me? I changed my phone number. I moved. I became meticulous about hiding my identity online. I called the florist and begged them to put me on a no-deliver list. I even called the police and tried to file a report that I was being stalked. Let me tell you, trying to get the police to do something about a guy delivering you flowers is not an easy task. But nothing I did could keep the flowers from coming. They just kept showing up every week and then twice a week for nearly 3 years now. No matter where I live or where I work, somehow the flowers just keep coming. Which brings us to today and the newest bouquet. Usually when I get them, I'm exasperated or a little uneasy or just plain mad. But lately, I've been getting more and more scared because I was on Facebook the other day, prowling through friends of friends and old classmates, snooping around the way you do when you've had a couple of drinks and a free evening, and I found Mike's Facebook page. It was covered in messages of mourning and memorial because Mike's been dead for nearly 3 years.
So, they're ghost flowers.
No, I think it's someone else that's been sending them, not Mike.
Ah, okay.
Not that they're phantom flowers being sent by a ghost, but hey, maybe that's how you interpreted it.
So when when they kept trying to call them and stuff like that, and they were getting like message undelivered, I was just like, he's already dead.
Yeah, I pretty much assumed at that point, Mike's out of the picture. It's someone else sending these. Pretty sure that person's name is Kyle. He just has become a character that's going to be in multiple stories now, so I think that's what's going on behind the scenes here. I do think it's really fucking creepy, though. This idea that you've just assumed you're being stalked by someone because there's behavior that absolutely leads to you knowing you're being stalked, and then suddenly realizing, oh, it's not that person. You have to sit down and think, who else could this be? You know?
Yeah.
That would be haunting. So I really enjoyed that one. Shout out to T.L. Bodine for writing that story.
Cool.
Good stuff. Good way to start the show.
Cool. All right, so I'm going to read my first story. I just love the name of this story.
She was so excited when she saw this name.
So the title of this particular creepypasta is called Ickbar Bigglestein.
Ickbar Bigglestein.
All right, so it goes. When I was a small child, I was terrified of the dark. I still am, but back when I was around 6 years old, I couldn't go a full night without crying out for one of my parents to search beneath my bed or in my closet for whatever monster I thought was waiting to eat me. Even with a nightlight, I would still see dark shapes moving around the corners of the room or strange faces looking in on me from my bedroom window. My parents would do their best to console me, telling me that it was just a bad dream or a trick of the light. But in my young mind, I was positive that the second I fell asleep, the bad things would get me. Most of the time, I would just hide under the blankets until I became tired enough to stop worrying. But every now and then, I would become so panicked that I would run screaming into my parents' room, waking up my brother and sister in the process. After an ordeal like that, there would be no way anyone would be getting a full night's rest. Eventually, after one particularly traumatizing night, my parents had had enough. Unfortunately for them, they understood the futility in arguing with a 6-year-old and knew that they would be unable to convince me to rid myself of childish fears through reason and logic. They had to be clever. It was my mother's idea to stitch together my little bedtime friend. She collected a large assortment of random pieces of fabric and her sewing machine and created what I would later refer to as Mr. Ickbar Bigglestein, or Ick for short. Ick was a sock monster, as my mother called him. He was made to keep me safe while I slept at night by scaring away all the other monsters. He was pretty damn creepy, I had to admit. Honestly, looking back on it now, I'm still impressed that my mom could think of something so strange and disturbing to look at. Ickbar had the stitched-together look of a Frankenstein gremlin with big white button eyes and floppy cat ears. His little arms and legs were made from a pair of my sister's black and white striped socks, and the half of his face that was green was made from one of my brother's tall football socks. His head could have been described as bulbous, and for his mouth, my mom attached a piece of white fabric and sewed in a zigzag pattern to shape a wide grin of sharp teeth. I loved him at once.
Aww.
It looks It sounds
like it would, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it would look horrifying. I don't know, but sometimes kids like that.
And it's like, this is here to protect you. So you'd be like, he's scary. He's going to scare off all the bad guys.
That's a good point. From then on, Ick never left my side. So long as it was after dusk, of course. Ick didn't like the sun and would get upset if I tried to bring him to school with me. But that was okay. I only needed him at night to keep away the boogeyman, which was what he was good at. So every night at bedtime, Ick would tell me where the monsters were hiding, and I would place him near the section of my room closest to the spookiness. If there was something in the closet, Ick would block the door. If there was a dark creature scratching at my window, Ick would be pressed up against the glass. If there was a big hairy beast under my bed, then under the bed he went. Sometimes the monsters weren't even in my room. Sometimes they would hide in my dreams. And Ickbar would have to come with me into my nightmares. It was fun bringing Ick into my dream world, as he and I could spend hours fighting off ghouls and demons. The best part was, in my dreams, Ick could talk to me for real. "How much do you love me?" he would ask.
It's a weird question to get asked.
"More than anything," I would always tell him. One night in a dream, after I had lost my first tooth, Ick asked me for a favor. "Can I have your tooth?" I asked him why. to help me kill the bad things, he said. The next morning at breakfast, my mom asked me where my tooth went. From what she told me, the tooth fairy didn't find it under the pillow. When I told her that I gave it to Ikbar, she just shrugged and went back to feeding my little sister. From then on, every time I lost a tooth, I would give it to Ik. He would always thank me, of course, and tell me that he loved me. Eventually, though, I ran out of baby teeth, and I was beginning to get a little too old to still be playing with dolls. So Ik just sat there on my bookshelf collecting dust, slowly fading away from my attention. Over time, the nightmares, however, became worse than ever. So bad that they even began to follow me in the waking world, terrorizing every dark corner or rustle in the bushes. After one particularly bad night biking home from a friend's house where I swore a pack of rabid dogs were chasing me, I got home to find something strange waiting for me in my room. There, on my bed, standing fully upright in the soft glow of the moonlight from my window, was Ikbar. At first, I just thought my eyes were playing tricks on me again. They had been all evening, so I tried to flick on the lights. Another flick of the light switch, then another, and another with no change to the darkness. It was then that I started to get nervous. I backed away slowly towards the door behind me, my eyes never leaving the shape of Ik's silhouette, my hand awkwardly outstretched behind me, reaching for the doorknob. I was just about to get my ass out of there when I heard the door slam itself shut, locking me into the blackness. In nothing but shadows and silence, I stood frozen in place, not even breathing. For how long, I can't say, but after what felt like a lifetime of cold fear, I heard the shrill, familiar voice. I didn't realize it was shrill before, but okay. You stopped feeding me, so why should I protect you? Is that shrill? Fuck. Protect me from what? Let me show you.
Wow.
I blinked once and everything changed. I wasn't in my bedroom anymore. I was somewhere else. It wasn't hell, but the comparison wasn't far off. It was some sort of forest, a horrible, nightmarish place where partial embryonic abortions hung from the canopy. What the fuck?
Quite the imagery you have there, author.
And the ground swarmed with carnivorous insects. A thick fog wafted through the air, and with it the stench of rotting meat, while chartreuse lightning flashed across the night sky. All right.
Chartreuse!
In the distance, I could hear the agonizing screams of something not quite human. My head throbbed like it was about to explode, the pain forcing out a river of tears. In my mind, I heard his voice again. This is what your reality would become without me. I felt earth-shaking footsteps approaching fast. I am the only one who can stop it. It was behind me now, huge and angry, hot breath across my back. Bring me what I need, and I will. I woke up before I could turn around. The following day, I raided my parents' closet for my brother's baby teeth, gave them all to Ikbar. Almost immediately, the night terrors ceased, and I was more or less able to go on about my life as normal. From time to time, I would have to sneak into my little sister's room and snatch what was meant for the tooth fairy, or strangle one of the neighborhood cats to pry out its sharp little incisors. Everything to ward off the visions, anything from a shark tooth necklace to a cavity ridden bicuspid. I also began to notice that Ik would move about my room whenever I left for any length of time, rearranging my stuff and hanging additional curtains.
Ick.
He was even beginning to look more lifelike somehow. In the right light, his teeth would glisten, and he was warm to the touch. As much as he creeped me out, I couldn't work up the courage to just destroy him, knowing perfectly well where that would leave me. So I went on collecting teeth for Ik throughout all of high school and college. The older I got, the more things I would learn to fear, the more teeth Ik would need to keep me safe. I'm 22 years old now, with a decent job, my own apartment, and a set of dentures. It's been almost a month since Ik's last meal, and the horrors are starting to crowd around me once more. I took a detour through a parking garage after work tonight. Found a man fumbling with his car keys. His teeth were stained yellow from a lifetime of cigarettes and coffee. Even still, I had to use a hammer to get out the molars.
What the fuck? There's got to be better places to get fucking teeth.
When I got back to my apartment, he was waiting for me on the ceiling in the corner. 2 white eyes and a mouth full of razors. How much do you love me? He asks. More than anything, I reply, taking off my coat. More than anything in the world.
It's really fucking creepy, without a doubt. Who wrote this? You wanted me to tag the credit?
So the credit is to Stephen D. Harris for writing this story.
Interesting choice of chartreuse lightning.
Okay.
I will see that in my nightmares until the day I die.
The whole idea, the teeth freak me out.
Your teeth freak you out.
Not my teeth. The idea of creating something with human teeth, you know? You've seen those dolls, right? Where people use human teeth to make the teeth on the creature.
Yeah, it's really fucking gross.
Freaking creepy. And there's like, people have posted in the Spooky Friends group, like, sinks made of teeth, tables made of teeth. It's freaking gross. But teeth go somewhere, right? They all gotta go somewhere.
It's okay. You know, I think the idea of naming a creature Ick and then eventually grossing you out with it is pretty smart. It's just like Tom Morvillo Riddle being I am Lord Voldemort. Who would have thought that was going to happen?
I am a dildo lover.
Mr. Tom, a dildo lover.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's what Tom Marvolo Riddle also spells. Anyways, yeah, it was good. I'm not saying it was not good. It's definitely gross, though. And I do think that there's this massive leap in logic at some point of like, the only way I can acquire teeth is by murdering small animals and assaulting grown individuals. Like, there's got to be a different way to acquire teeth. Like, if you're going to cross that line...
This sounds like a freaking infomercial. There's got to be a better way.
There's got to be a better way. Just, like, break in somewhere and then take teeth versus, like, smashing them out of someone's mouth.
Do dentist office just throw the teeth away?
I don't know. But that's something that I would try and find out before I started assaulting people and killing cats. Either way, it's a good story because we talked about it that much. So, solid stuff. Good pick, Robin.
Thanks.
So before we move into our next story, we are going to take a really quick commercial break. And we're back. All right, so let's go ahead and move into my final and the third pasta of the show. This one's entitled Chat. Starts out like this. It was a regular Friday night, and I was up late chatting to my friend Bradley on this virtual chat room we had found online. He told me and the other guys who we had just met that he was able to stay up as late as he wanted because his parents were away until the weekend and he had the house to himself. Those are pretty good feelings back in the day.
Having the house to yourself?
Yeah, like...
Having the house to yourself is a good feeling to this day.
Yeah, but back in the day when it's like you couldn't go anywhere or do anything else, but all of a sudden it's like the house is your domain, you can stay up all night, you don't have a bedtime, that was pretty sweet. We stayed on there for a few hours having fun with these random people, and I noticed Bradley had taken a liking to one girl in particular. Soon enough, my mom began calling out for me to go to sleep. As I was about to log off, I asked Bradley what he was doing tomorrow, thinking he might want to stop by my place. He didn't reply for a while until... And then in parentheses says, Bradley is typing a message. We've all seen that. We all know what that looks like.
Do you guys get really annoyed when it's like, so-and-so's typing a message? And then it goes, stops, and then it goes back, and then it stops, and then it goes back, and it's like they never end up sending you a message. Like, what did you want? What did you want from me? I want to know.
Let me read you this next part. Bradley is typing a message. Then it went blank. Then Bradley is typing a message. Nothing again. Whatever, man. I'm going to bed, and we'll talk about it tomorrow, I said. It was strange for him to just stop replying like that. I've had that happen a couple of times. If it's happening to me on Slack, which is what we use at work, it's typically because someone's trying to find the perfect GIF to send, and it says that you're typing while you're flipping through all the GIFs that you can use, and if you wind up not finding the perfect one, saying like, fuck it, I'm not going to send it, then it basically told everyone in that chat or in that channel that you were typing that entire time, so it's definitely annoying. Okay, so he said whatever. He's just going to go to bed. Strange for him to stop replying. I didn't hear from him again until the next day when I logged onto the chat site and he was on. He apologized for not replying last night and said he had just been busy. We had a brief exchange, and he said he would come over soon, saying it was urgent. That was fine, but I queried him why he didn't want to wait to see his parents first, who would be home any minute. He insisted there was no time because he had something really important to show me, and then logged straight off. I thought that was out of character for him.
It's a dead body.
He usually puts his family before anything, and I grew curious as to what he wanted to show me so badly.
It's the trunk of a car. You're the dead body.
I expected him to be over soon, as he only lived about 20 minutes away, when I received a disturbing phone call. It was Bradley's parents, who had just come home and were sounding extremely upset. They asked if I knew anything on Bradley's whereabouts, to which I told them not to worry, because he was in fact on his way over. The phone fell silent for a moment until I heard a deathly scream from the mother in the background on the other end of the line. The father drew a deep breath and bravely strung together a sentence that I'll never forget. "Get out of your house now. Bradley's here and he's dead." They had found Bradley's lifeless body hung up like a coat in the wardrobe.
What the fuck?
I ended the call.
I'm sorry, but it's it reminds me of the scene from the Blair Witch 2, that movie, where the girl's in the closet.
No, she's just like leaned against the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. All right, they had found Bradley. I ended the call in shock as it became apparent why he had asked if I would be home alone, when suddenly I heard the back door creak open.
Hide.
Instinctively, I did the first thing I could think of and quickly crawled under my bed to hide. I heard the sound of footsteps coming closer.
That is the worst place to hide.
Ever so slowly. Where would you hide, Robin? In the closet so you could be hung
see.
up like a coat?
Well, if I had to choose a place to hide...
These are the footsteps coming after you. You better think quickly here, Robin.
Shit.
Where are you going to hide?
Shit. I'd probably choose the closet or something, you know.
Going out that fucking window. That's me. Or I'm going to open the hallway.
How are you going to climb out any of these windows? There's no way.
Oh, where there's a will, there's a fucking way. I will get out of one of these windows and I will fall.
They're all covered in screens.
Yeah, you think that the screen is going to hold me? Get the fuck out of here. If I was running at a screen, would you have your faith in the screen to keep me within the house?
No, that's true.
Okay, that's all I'm saying. So, okay. Bradley decided to hide under the bed. I think we can all agree it's pretty fucking dumb.
All right.
So let's keep going. I heard the sound of footsteps coming closer ever so slowly. I dared not to open my eyes, which is dumb. But when I dreadfully peeked through my fingers, I saw these pale, white, cold, bare feet coming into my room.
His skin is pale white and ice cold.
Vampire. I hate that I know Twilight lines because Robin sucks. Let's get back into the super tense moment.
Okay.
Pale, white, cold, bare feet coming into my room, almost in slow motion. I would hate to see the person such feet belonged to. It's a good sentence. As they slowly approached the bed, you could hear the dampness of the footsteps peeling away from the floorboards. My heart was pounding in my mouth, and I held my breath.
Sounds hot.
Just when I couldn't possibly get any more scared, my phone let off a loud beep to notify me that I had received a message. It was from Bradley's phone and read,
"Oh, shit.
Where are you?" As the feet stopped abruptly, dead in their tracks.
Oh, fuck. No.
And that's how the story ends. So apparently, this thing had Bradley's phone, texted him to find him. The thing went off under the bed. The thing was like, got you now, motherfucker. But hang on, write a creepypasta first to post it to the internet because we're going to go ahead and want this to get shared before you get murdered.
This is why my phone's always on silent.
My phone's always on
100.
silent, but that's mainly so I can sleep because so many stupid phone calls come through.
See, for me, it's not phone calls in the middle of the night. It's like email.
For me, it's like 7 a.m. I start getting those spam like car warranty, like random automated voice messages about like me owing the IRS $10 gajillion and they need me to give it to them in a Walmart gift card or some shit. I just get all those weird potential spam ones starting at 7 until like 10. And I would like to sleep and not have those things come through. So I thought that was a fairly good one. I thought y'all would enjoy that. So pretty good stuff.
Good job.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Wait, someone's talking shit about brownies? I need to read this whole thing. That sounds amazing if I ate brownies or drank milk. Okay, got it. Brownies are gross. That's not true. And cow milk makes me want to vomit. I'm not a big fan of milk either, but brownies are amazing.
I'd suck cow milk from the teat.
I knew that's where you were going to go with this. Don't let Robin on your farm. You're going to go out there and she's going to be under your cow just like... just like we were talking about earlier. It's like someone get her a rum and coke.
I'm just imagining...
Let's not imagine that.
Like...
It's fucking gross.
I just want to try and see if I can aim like a cow titty at your face, right? And just shoot the milk in your mouth. Just stand there.
I mean,
like,
I'd have to be on my knees to be next to a cow. You can't fucking shoot from a cow udder.
Yeah, can't you?
Straight up at my face.
Not straight up, but like if you're sitting a little ways away.
I just said I'd have to be sitting there.
You said you'd have to be on your knees.
I'd have to be next to you. If I was sitting, I'd have to be sitting on my ass.
I want it to be like distance challenge, you know?
Emanon says, actually from someone that has been raised around the dairy industry my entire life, Adam, there's a good possibility that she'll be able to do that with you standing. I have never seen someone milk a cow, which I've seen quite a bit at 4-H, and seen them be able to twist the fucking udder, still get the udder to be producing milk, and then spray it up.
You never know.
I've
You
never
gotta
fucking
test it.
seen that.
You gotta test it
yourself. But we can go ahead and test it. The next time we're back in Northwest Indiana.
You have someone with a cow?
There's a fucking milk. The guy that lives across the street from the house I grew up in has nothing but cows grazing in
you
one
really
of the
think they're
many
gonna let
acres.
you like squeeze
If I was
a
like,
tea?
excuse me, Mr. Hall, can Robin try and squeeze an udder to squirt me in the face with milk? He'd be like, fuck yes, let's do this.
Oh, fuck. Glitch is just like, OMG, why?
The thing is, if you could do it, you would have to have precise hands and expertise in milking a cow.
Yeah, you just gotta practice a couple
It's
times.
not like
get the
jerking
pinch
someone
down.
off, Robin.
You
You're
know,
not
you
just gonna
gotta
be like,
have
let
the
me build
pinch
it up
down,
and just
right?
let it go in the
It's
right
a very
direction.
specific pinch on the udder, and then you just, you know what I mean?
Have you ever milked a cow?
I've watched a lot of
Don't
milking.
talking about the specific pinch that you seem to fucking know all about. Elizabeth Tree says, August goal, get Robin to squirt Adam from a cow udder.
Oh, Jesus.
Jesus. All right, this has been a really fun break. Talking about squirting
Cow
cow milk.
titties? Okay.
I've also destroyed you in the cow udder challenge at the Museum of Science and Industry.
That you're putting pumps on a cow, a fake cow. All right.
That's meant to be a simulation of real cow
the cow's
udders.
not moving.
Moving. I mean, if you're gonna like milk them, they're in like a specific spot where their like shoulders and their heads are in a
Have
spot
you ever
where
watched
they don't
that
move
vet
around too
show where
much.
the guy shoves his whole arm up of a cow?
Yeah, and then he pulls out like the entire whatever part of the cow and has to like punch it back in.
No, that's when that's
when they're giving birth.
That's a pig had a kid.
Oh no, I've seen that guy punch in like cow insides like bunches of times. Every time a cow's giving birth and it's complicated,
It's called a
he gets the
prolapsed
cow
uterus.
out. He gets the prolapse thing and this is like Rocky Balboa's that shit back into the cow.
Rocky Balboa, fucking
Fucking
ew.
true. Watch it. Watch the show. You have to read again.
It's so gross.
Adrian, I punched that cow.
Stop.
I helped that cow give birth.
Okay.
One of Robin's uncles always quotes this scene from either Family Guy or American Dad where it's like, Rocky, you can't box him on the moon. There's no oxygen. He's like, there's no oxygen for him. There's no oxygen for me. Like, he says it perfectly every time I fucking see him. And I die laughing.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right.
All right.
Fun breaks. I think I should up the fucking August goal to like $600. We can afford tickets back home.
Yeah, if oh my god, if
Fucking-
the goal was that high, I'd be like, fuck yeah, we're
I was
buying
like,
plane
fuck
tickets
it.
home.
September udder milking
But you gotta,
challenge.
you gotta call like a farm and prep. You know what I mean?
I'm thinking of like all the people I know that have farms and have like cattle.
Well,
at this
wouldn't it be
point.
cute to do just like a farm video where we just go to a farm and like show all the
It'd be
animals,
fucking adorable. We'd
milk
have,
some titties?
Ooh, we'd have to have a cameraman and sound. I mean, so we'd have to up the fucking gold like 900.
Yeah.
Unless we can find them like super cheap, and I don't feel like flying with recording equipment super cheap. Either way, okay. Let me think some shit.
I think it'd be so funny.
I'm gonna mark this so you can read your your next story.
Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go.
We're gonna fucking do it live.
Fuck. Rocky Balboa.
There's just so much shit we're gonna have to do when we're there too. Like, can we drink that from the tap?
No, okay. You'd have to sanitize that titty for me to actually put my mouth on there.
Man, I have a bunch of hand
But you
sanitizer
think
because of COVID.
Okay.
I'm like, bloop, 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 bloop. They're all
You
good.
think it would hurt though? Like actually like squirting it straight into your mouth?
Yeah.
What is the pressure behind
It's
that
not like
thing?
it's a fucking power washer, but like
That's what it looks
the
like,
way you
though,
milk
you
an
know?
udder is like there's already milk in the udder, and like you sort of squeeze it
you
through
squeeze
the
it,
nipple.
you
and it's
pinch
like,
it a certain way. Yeah, but see,
So it's
every
not
time
like it's gonna be a fucking drain grip.
but
or
the
anything.
sound of it
This is so
hitting
much.
the bucket, right, sounds like it would hurt your throat shooting straight in there. You know what I mean? Fuck.
Chunks, that's a whole Adam broke Robin. This is the thing about like this entire fucking ridiculous scenario is like, again, if I'm not sitting or on a stool next to Robin or kneeling where my face is at least parallel to hers, if I'm standing, she has the cow as an obstruction to aim. So I'd have to be in like the perfect spot for her to try and shoot me in the face.
Distance challenge. That's the point.
Okay. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's a difficult shot. Okay. That's all I'm saying. So.
Okay, stop.
She's gonna die.
All right, so my last story, the last story of the episode,
indeed,
is called Unknown Number. And we all know we get those unknown numbers, right? I mean, like, Adam always gets them numbers telling him about his car warranty. I've never once gotten a phone call about
unknown number is not nearly as disturbing as blocked. Like, when you see blocked pop up, it's like, someone called me and deliberately blocked their number. So,
that is creepy. All right, so the story begins. Jesus, I cried, being jolted from a half dose at 1:45 by my new Halloween theme ringtone. How does the Halloween theme go? Yeah, that's the one.
And there's like a boom.
So the Halloween theme ringtone didn't do wonders for my heart rate, especially since I'd momentarily forgot I'd changed the tone at all that day. Took me a while to find my phone stuck down the side of the armchair I was sitting in, not helped by the fact that the only light in the sitting room was the static on the widescreen TV. Why is your TV at static?
It's creepy.
Even these days, like...
Should be blue screen.
It should be blue screen.
Sometimes, though, like, it's blue screen, it's like... And it cuts to static for a second because the ghosts are really trying to communicate.
So, it continues. The phone says, unknown number. I answered it. There was no one there. To be honest, I was expecting heavy breathing on the other end as I was still...
Why are you stopping? I can laugh at heavy breathing.
Okay, there's nobody saying, oh yeah. Okay, it's just heavy breathing.
All my heavy breathing comes with the phrase, oh yeah.
That's not true. Okay. To be honest, I was expecting heavy breathing on the other end as I was still a little freaked out, but there was no noise at all. So I hung up. I took a deep breath and frowned. Maybe I just pocket dialed myself. I don't think you can do that, can you? Call yourself?
I don't know. I've never tried.
My old iPhone could make, a fake self-call designed to create a diversion. So if I was having a boring conversation with someone, I could pretend mom was ringing or something. Although I wasn't familiar at all with this quote-unquote new piece of crap. All right. Dad bought it from a gas station for $20 a few days ago as I'd lost my iPhone on a trip to the city last week. Okay, so this is a different phone. It's not an iPhone. It's just a random...
it's a burner.
Burner, yeah. I flicked through the features on the menu screen trying to find the fake call option, but didn't have much luck. For one thing, the screen was about half the size of a credit card. Okay, credit card is like the size of a business card, right?
Yeah. So it's one of these flip phones.
It's tiny.
Yeah. That's what I'm picturing, at least in my brain, my mind's eye.
I cursed and decided to watch TV instead to take my mind off things. I tried using the light of my cell phone to find the remote with little success. Groaning out of laziness, I hauled myself out of the chair to get to the light switch. Stopping halfway, I registered the fact that I had the TV on the satellite channels when I fell asleep, yet now static from the analog aerial. Stopping halfway, I registered the fact that I had the TV on the satellite channels when I fell asleep, yet now it was static from the analog ones. I ran the rest of the way to the switch and basically punched it. Light flooded the room and my darting eyes saw nothing. After another deep breath, my moment of fear passed. Guess I was a little unused to having the whole house to myself. Oh, another story about being alone. Mom and Dad were only gone for the night, but it was quite a treat for me since they rarely went anywhere, even during the day. Nowhere to go but fields around this part of the country, so them going to a friend's wedding meant I finally had some solitude. Not always a good thing, as our last story said. I still couldn't see the remote, so I decided to recheck the sides of the armchair. I threw my phone on the seat and reached deep down either side. The phone rang again at full creepy blast with my ear pressed right up against it. I angrily grabbed it. Damn it, what? Again, there was dead silence. Cursing, I threw the phone back on the seat hard. Pop! At that moment, the light bulb blew out violently and the power went out, thrusting me into total darkness.
It sucks when a light bulb goes out. When they pop like that, it definitely freaks you the fuck out.
When batteries explode, it freaks you the fuck out.
Robin had a battery explode within a smoke detector that freaked her out. Something fierce.
With a shriek, I scrambled to grab the phone again and found it after an instant of blind terror. Using the tiny screen light to see, I panicked and bolted down to my room as fast as I could. I jumped into bed and pulled the covers. I curled up into a fetal position. I don't know what it is about blankets, but they always make you feel safe. You know, when you throw the covers over you.
So you like wrap it around yourself. It's almost like you're in like a safety hug.
Yeah.
Probably reminds you of being in the womb or something like that.
I was panting hard from both the run and the fear. I couldn't form any thought for about 5 breaths until I decided to call Dad. Looking at the screen, I saw I forgot to hang up the last call. My breath caught in my throat as I saw that this time it wasn't an unknown number. It was mine. My old number from the phone that I'd lost. As I hit the red button, my terrified mind began to race through 1,000 horrible implications until I realized something else. My bed was already warm.
That sentence is haunting in so many ways.
Beep, beep. The message tone nearly gave me a heart attack. It's under your pillow. Ever so slowly, my trembling hand slid underneath the pillow and found the TV remote. From under the covers, I heard my bedroom door close and then lock.
It's pretty creepy.
That's the end of the story. Hang
on. Give credit where credit's due to who wrote this story.
Beef Nuts.
Credit to Beef Nuts.
For writing this story. I think home invasions are very scary. I don't know if any of you have watched the movie Hush on Netflix. That movie is absolutely terrifying. It is about a deaf woman who is staying at this house in the woods alone, and home invasion stuff happens, right? But it's such a good movie. You folks should watch it if you haven't yet. It's very intense, but it's worth watching, I think.
What I will say is, like, one of the genres of horror that's so intense for me that I do not enjoy watching it is home invasion. Home invasion really bothers me. I know a lot of folks, like, I've been robbed before in the past. Like, I've had my house broken into and shit stolen from it. There is this sense of violation of, like, this place is mine. Especially, like, when you're older, it has a different feel to it. Probably when you're a kid or when you're younger and you're not, like, paying rent, it has a completely different sense. Like, not only did it have the sense of, like, this is my safe place, this is where I go to for solitude, this is, like, what belongs to me. It was like, I also pay rent for this place. Like, how fucking dare someone come in here and take things I work so hard for? So when it comes to home invasion stuff like that, it really creeps me out in a completely different way. It's like reading stuff about someone entering your home in an unwelcome fashion and they're there for you. Like, our last stories were very similar in the fact that, like, it almost kind of triggers me where it's like, ooh, I don't like this creepiness. Like, yeah, I'd jump out a window, but I'd also probably want to punch someone in the face for breaking into my house like that.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, it's such a fucking violation. It makes me want to vomit. But either way, I thought that was a really good story.
I thought it was a good story, too.
So good pick.
Thanks.
Good job, Beef Nuts. You wrote it well. Wrote it, not wrote it. That would be weird. Okay, good job. I want to thank everyone who wrote the stories tonight. We'll never meet you, probably. You probably don't listen to the show, but either way.
If you do.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Write some more, send them our way. And for our community who's listening right now, thank you to everyone who has reached out in the past with a story of your own. If you have a fictional short story you would like to submit to be read on the Pastatime episodes, you can email pastatime@scarish.com. You can also go to scarish.com, click on contact us, fill that out, drop your story in there, say this is for Pastatime. We'd be happy to add it to the queue, or hit us up on any of our social medias. Facebook is facebook.com/scarishpodcast. Twitter is @scarishpod. Take you a long time to send a story through there, but if you want to send it through DMs, I guess go for it. And then Instagram is @scarishpodcast. So we hope to hear from you. Robin, for folks who would like to donate to us, like so many of our wonderful viewers did tonight, how can they do so?
You can go to patreon.com/scarishpodcast. Those are monthly donations. Tiers there start at $1. And at $1, you get ad-free episodes, which is awesome.
Ad-free is the way to be.
There are also physical merch tiers, things like that. We actually have like a goodie box type tier where I'll just kind of get something like a pin or something.
Or a book.
I've been doing a lot of books lately in those boxes or packages because I love books and I really like sharing horror mystery type books with you guys. And we've actually gotten feedback on them and I'm really glad people like them. It's really cool. If you're not into the monthly donation type thing, you can actually do one-time donations over at ko-fi.com/scaryishpodcast. All your donations go to upgrading our studio setup, kind of keep us going, kind of helps us pay for like the back end stuff, hosting fees, website fees, things like that. And we're really thankful to be able to get this far. And we really wouldn't be where we are without you folks.
Indeed. So thank you to everyone who donates, listens, watches, reviews, just hangs out with us on the live stream. You guys have no idea how much it means to us. You're all amazing. We appreciate you. And I think that's everything we have for Pastatime number 13. So Robin, go ahead and sign us out.
Keep on creeping on, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.